They asserted themselves tonight, and they just showed the current climate of college basketball. Like UConn starting the season 14-0. They went through their rough patch. They did.
Mm-hmm.
There's teams who have gone through a rough patch. Baylor went through a rough patch this season. Kansas lost 3 games in a row in Big 12 play, and they're playing as well as anybody. I mean, I keep revisiting this with you, but as we talk towards the end of February, how many teams, ballpark it, how many teams could you foresee winning a national championship in this sport this season?
Probably like 15 different teams this year. Because like at the end of the day, the way that you got to think about it is how many teams can beat the best team in college basketball. Best team in college basketball is Houston this year, probably, right? You can make the argument it's not, but probably is. And I just don't think that they are so utterly dominant that you are like as scared of them as you've been of like 2021 Baylor or 2018 Villanova or 2015 Kentucky or 2012 Kentucky, 2009 North Carolina. So I think a lot of teams, like, let's just go conference by conference. I think there's 5 teams in the Big East that are, well, you know what? Let me say 4 teams in the Big East that are capable of winning 4 straight games in the NCAA tournament. If you win 4 straight, you get to the Final Four, anything can happen. I would put Xavier in that conversation if we have a guarantee that Zach Freemantle is going to be healthy. In the Big 12, I think that there's 5. There's 5 more. Baylor, Kansas, Kansas State, TCU, and Texas, right? I think there's 2 in the Pac-12. I think there's 1 in the SEC. I think that there is 1 in the American, right? And I think that there is probably 2 in the Big 10. I'm going to say Purdue, and it's going to be crazy. You might think I'm crazy, but I'm still in on Indiana being able to make a run, especially if they get Xavier Johnson back.
Wow. I thought you would say Illinois. Just being honest.
No, Illinois just something's going to happen with them.
Yeah, I got
just
you.
Like
I got you.
They're going to have a bad night. Illinois, they're not consistent enough to win 4 straight. But like all of those would that surprise anybody if any of those teams found a way to make a run? No. I mean, shit, I wouldn't be that surprised if Kentucky got to the Final Four. Would you?
No, I wouldn't be surprised by that at all because they have a lineup that they.
What about Miami? What if Miami got to the Final Four? Would that surprise you?
I actually think Miami's making the Elite 8. I really do. I don't even need to see what their draw is. They're one of the teams that I think is absolutely capable of it because Isaiah Wong and Nigel Pack can do what they did over the weekend when they combined for 51 points in a win over Wake Forest. And you know what? That's the thing. Folks, we get a lot of talk sometimes on the ACC that like, wow, you're being overly critical or all this. You know, Jeff Capel came out earlier this week, talked about media coverage of the league. Folks, Rob.
Can't roll my eyes hard enough. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Games.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, folks. As much as Virginia's been poor the past 2 weeks, Miami looks great. And folks, Kevin Keatts and NC State are a legitimate dark horse in the NCAA tournament. I mean, they blew out Wake Forest tonight, 90-74. Jarkel Joyner is on a mission right now. He goes for 29 points tonight.
Back-to-back 29-point performances, man. He could play, and he's the second best guard on their team. Yeah, that's crazy.
He scored 26 or more in 3 of his last 4 games. Like when you think of offensive firepower right now, NC State, they're right up there, not just in the ACC, folks. We're talking teams around the country, like teams, Rob, that you legitimately fear for how they can score the ball. NC State's top 15 in that conversation right now. They are deep.
Yes, absolutely. They have the thing that I always look for teams that are a little bit off the radar that can make a run. Great guard play. I mean, look for teams that have 2 guards. You know who had 2 guards? Kemba Walker and Shabazz Napier. Those are 2 guards. You know who had 2 guards? Ryan Boatwright and Shabazz Napier. You know who had 2 guards? Louisville when they had Russ Smith and Peyton Siva. You know who had 2 guards? Baylor when they won it. You know who had 2 guards? Virginia when they won it. You know who had 27 guards? Villanova when they won it. NC State's got 2 guards when things break down that can go get you a bucket. And you know what? They play a style that's difficult to prepare for. If you haven't seen a team that presses you, and how can you not root for DJ Burns?
I love him.
You know how you got McDonald's All-Americans? He is an All-McDonald's American.
I love him. I want to go to lunch with that kid. I want to do a feature on him. I love DJ Burns. I need a T-shirt.